Hi everyone. So in this tutorial we are going to continue with our agenda. So we will be doing some more operations on ALV output, and then we will also be discussing about SAP memory, ABAP memory, and then shared buffer concepts. So before we actually go ahead with our session, I would also like to explain a very important concept here, and then that would be an interview question as well for some of you, or maybe for many of you. So the types of internal table in SAP. So we have three different types of internal table in SAP: standard internal table, sorted, and then hashed. So if I go to my declaration, that is top, so you can see whatever I'm declaring here, this one, by default it's a standard table. So standard table means whatever way you fetch the data, it will come as it is, and then you need to do external operation on that to sort it. But then, so I'm writing like this or I'm writing like this, it doesn't make a difference. But then what I can do, I can write like this also, type sorted table, which means whatever the data that we are going to fetch in this internal table would be sorted by default. Now, the third concept is hashed. So hash table of, but whenever we are declaring hash table, there should be an unique key. For example, something like this. Now, so what I wanted to explain here is, I would have shown in some of the tutorial or maybe some time back the concept of binary search. So we will do a bit more tweaking on our output. As of now, what we are doing, we are simply displaying data fetched from one table, that is VBELN. So what we will do, for example, in this one, let's see what else we can do. Let's go to VBAK. And then now let's see in VBAP. Yeah, so in VBAP we are getting the material, that is MATNR. So going to VBAP, and then we are displaying MATNR. But then what I'll do, I'll also display the description of this material. So the description of the material lies in another database table, that is called MAKT. So MAKT table will hold the description of the material, and the field is MAKTX. So what I'm going to do, so using this you'll understand some more concepts of loop and then read. So I'm adding one more field in my output. Now we will be fetching this separately. T_final, table of ty_final work area. And then because I'm getting this table, so I need to declare another internal table for this one also. Here I'm writing as sorted. So by doing this, I don't need to sort my internal table externally, which means I don't need to write the sort statement. What is this? Here you can see the declaration, this internal table type hash table of this with unique key this, something like. So the difference between normal internal table and hash internal table is basically the mechanism. So for example, in this internal table I am having some millions of record in, let's say, SPFLI underscore tab. But then if that is a hash table, so whenever I'll use a read statement using these two fields, the results will be very fast, which means the access time is always unique. So whatever the number of records may be, it will always give the result in a particular timing. Similarly, if I do a binary search, which I'm going to do after some time, so in that, basically it will follow the concept of a dictionary, which means let's say there are 10 records. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So whenever you do binary search, it will divide it into 50-50. One work process will come here, one will search here. If it's not available, again it will divide it further, just like dictionary. So it will keep on dividing till the time it doesn't get the actual result. So basically it's two-way process, and that is why it's also fast. But the concept is, for using a binary search, it's the internal table must be sorted. Somehow this syntax is not working. So what we will do? We will go with normal discussion for now. Means normal declaration. So for example, I got my data in ITVBAP. Now I'll declare one more internal table, that would be local internal table data t underscore VBAP table of ty underscore VBAP, and we will refresh that as well. So why I am doing this? Because MATNR is not the key field here, which means the unique record will be based on the combination of these two, due to which we will never, we might get duplicate materials, because same material might be available in different line items. So the moment we sorted it here, what I'll do, lt underscore VBAP body equal to, which means whatever we are having here, we'll have here as well. Then sort lt underscore VBAP by matmap. So it will be sorted by material number. Delete, that is duplicates from lt underscore VBAP, comparing. So I have already explained this in some of the videos, so you need to go through that in case you are missing that. So this way I'll be having all the unique materials in this. So let's say I was having 1000 materials here. Here I might be having only 10 or 20. Now so if not, which means there is some data available in this, select the description. So we will select this in our internal table. Select this. From MK18 storage in LT underscore VBAP where matter equal to LT underscore VBAP hyphen matter, and we must pass the language. So you can see the field SPRAS. So for now I want to fetch all the English data, English material. Size sub RC its initial and not LT underscore B. Initial, which means we have some descriptions available. Obviously, whenever there is a material, description would be available. So we are just making sure for our coding standards. So if this is initial, not initial, then what we will do, we will move everything into IT underscore final. So loop add IT underscore VBAP into VBAP, and then whatever we are having there in VBAP, we will move everything into our final internal table. So WA underscore final hyphen like this. So target equal to source. And then we will copy the same thing, put it there. It has to be replaced here. Because my source is WAREBAP after putting the loop. Now whatever we have in VBAP, it's already moved to final internal table, but then I also want to move the description. So what we will do, we will use the read statement. So read table IT underscore MAKT into WA underscore MAKT with key matter equal to WA underscore VBAP hyphen MTNR binary search. So binary search ensures that my read would be faster. It will use the dictionary concept. Now, if you see here that syntax which was not working. So here I need to sort IT underscore MAKT by matter so that whenever I'm using the read statement, binary search should not fail. Then WA underscore final hyphen MAKT x equal to WA underscore MAKT hyphen. So this way you can access the other tables also in a loop, and then WA final underscore final clear this work area so that there is no garbage data left. So this way, whatever I have merged two tables for the output. Now, whenever we are displaying the secondary list, we need to see the material description also, for which I need to extend my field catalog. Version 9 KTX. Now everything has to be replaced by IT final. Now because everything is fetched from IT final, so replace everything here, because we will pass the IT final to the function module. Here we can make it. Okay, so because we were doing one more thing here, so we were reading it based on this, and then so lt underscore vbab. Instead, we will make one more lt underscore final now. Now everything is clear. So if I execute this program and I get 200 records, if I double click here, why nothing is coming? Because of this. So let's try it now. So now you can see the material description also. So this was one thing. So now you know that we have three kind of tables: standard, sorted, and hashed. So we will close this. Okay. Now we will quickly see the checkbox in ALV. So for example, whatever we are fetching in ty underscore vbak, so we will add one more field here, check type char1. So by doing this, we are adding a char1 field in our first ALV output. Okay. But then if we do this, we will face an issue here, because whatever we are fetching here, so we will be having another field called check, but check is not available in VBAK. So instead what we can do, we will write into corresponding fields of table, which means system itself would go and match field by field and put the data. So this will basically slow down the performance. So it's not recommended, but still for now, just to showcase you, just to give you the demo, showcase the functionality, I am going to do it for now. So in the corresponding fields of table, so this way we will not get any dump, because there is no issue in source and target. System would do it on its own. Now we will go to the field cat also. So from here everything will change to, because checkbox I wanted first 0.35. Now first thing is going to be our checkbox. Field name is going to be check. Let it be hard coded. Anyway, you know the concept, so now I can hard code this. Now let's execute this report and see what happens. So you can see that our report is slower now because we are using more corresponding statement. So there is some issue. So the read file could not be placed in the target field. Okay, the other select file also we need to modify. So you can see that I'm getting a field for checkbox, but it's not exactly the checkbox. So what we need to do here is we will go to field cat and then we will enable the checkbox property. So we have the property of field cat as a checkbox also. So this way you can display checkbox, but you can see all the checkboxes are disabled. So we will enable it as edit. So now you can see that I can select something here, or I can do like this. Now the other challenge which we will face is when we are selecting this. Let's say I have selected this, and then if I do /x, if I do a save here, and let's see in debugging mode. So we have IT_VB again. Yeah, so this is our code. Now if I go to IT_VB, okay, so even though I selected my first field, this is not showing as X. So until and unless this is not showing as X, we will not be able to do any operation. So for this, there is a ready-made code available. I have opened it in a web page. So we have a function module in which we will pass our grid, and then we will call this method refresh table display. So this way it will basically fetch the changed values on the ALV output. So we can see that we have declared a grid type this CL. So this one is by default given by SAP. So we will also do the same thing in our code. So whenever we do a double click, or whenever we do a save, time serial grid like this. Type director, sorry. I'll explain this type director in more detail when we are basically doing the object-oriented programming, but for now you just learn it as it is. So LR grid type rect to this, and then if we are hitting the save button, call the function module get globals. this one. And then call another method lr to refresh table display. Go to pattern, go to objects pattern, it's so slow. So we just learn it as it is, that whenever you want to check the change data on the screen ALV output, you want to copy these two things, one function module and one method. Let's see the effect of this. If I execute this, if I select this, if I hit on save, oh my, that breakpoint is gone. So I'm calling this function module, calling this method. Okay, it didn't work. So let me see what's the wrong. What's the issue with this one? 1 second. So here you can see that whenever we are selecting a checkbox, we need to modify our internal table based on that and based on that index. So we need to do the same thing here. So, okay. So basically index. Modify IT underscore BAK W underscore BAK index, the standard index, that is rs underscore field icon. Now after doing this, we can call this function. This one has to be declared again. Okay, so rs not rs, we have cell field here. We can directly refer to cell field like this. Now if I run this, something else is happening now. Yes, select this, it will say it's my breakpoint. Yeah, because this case work area is blank, due to which it's making my internal table also blank. So if I select this, I hit on save button, you can see that this work area is having only X, rest everything is blank, so it goes and pushes the same thing there. But anyway, this X remains here, just forget about it. So this is how we check the changed values. Basically, we have to modify the internal table from work area for that particular index with this, and then call this function module, call this method. So this is how we get the change. Similarly, if there could be a case that let's say on the first output I make the second field also it's editable. So you can see that even this is also editable. Now I can do any modification here and then I can save it. So because it's gone now, because it's modified with a blank value, but then this is the concept. You can write the code at the right place. My code is little messed up now, and then drop me an email if it's not working for you, or you can just do a bit of Google. So this is the concept of checkbox, edit ALV, check change data. This thing is completed. Navigating to a transaction from ALV. So let's go to the link again. Here you can see they have already used a read table. And let's implement this also, because as of now it's making everything blank, so you might get confused. read the internal table and then you modify it. So that way it won't make it blank. I select this and then if I change this, if I hit on save, so my value remains same, you can see here. It's not making it blank now. So next thing is navigating to the transaction. Okay. Now we have three concepts in SAP related to buffer. One is called ABAP memory, second is called SAP memory, third is called shared buffer. So let's talk about it. So ABAP memory is basically valid at runtime within the same session, which means, for example, I know that I have this perform and I get some value here which will not be available in this perform. So as you can see here, after making the IT final, I don't really require ITVBAP. So what I can do, I can refresh ITVB. I'm just trying to give an example here. So I can do refresh IT underscore VBAP so that this is not available within my session. So that it doesn't consume the runtime memory. Now coming to runtime memory, every internal table will or every project will have some kind of predefined runtime memory. So the combination of all the internal tables holding the data at runtime, it will be consuming some space, let's say 1 GB, 2 GB, and if it crosses the predefined limit, you'll get the runtime error that it's like no, not enough memory. In that case, you need to either contact the basis guy or you need to restrict the data. So for example, in this case, what I can do, refresh, so I'm refreshing this so that this is going to be blank, but before this, export IT underscore VBAP memory ID like this, and in my other perform, just for testing, import IT underscore VBAP from memory ID. So basically this is the concept of ABAP memory, which means within the same session we are trying to export and import the data. So I'll put a breakpoint here. I'll also put a breakpoint in here. If I execute this, if I go inside and if I come to this place, so I have some values in this which I am exporting to a memory ID VBAP, After this my internal table is blank, which means no data. And then if I do F8, if I hit on save, so now this is blank. If I do an F5, you can see I got all the data again. So basically this is happening within the same session, so we will call it ABAP memory. Now we will talk about SAP memory. So SAP memory is basically within different SAP sessions. So what we will do, okay, so when we are doing a double click here, before this what I'll do, okay, we'll go to another screen just to show you something. For example, maybe PLN, so we have this field. If I go inside this field, if I go to further characteristics, I can see that parameter ID is there, AUN. So this parameter ID is basically would hold the value at runtime within different SAP sessions. So we'll show you, I'm going to show you how it happens. So before that, make it get hyphen hotspot. Which means if I run this report now, so I'll get this kind of underlining and a hyperlink. If I double click here, for now it's going to the second screen, which is as good as double click. But then I want to go to the sales document itself. So we'll tweak my code a little bit. So we'll go to, for example, when I'm doing a double click, as of now I'm calling the second second list. Rather than that, I'll comment everything here. Means you can try it in a different report or whatever way you want. So just commenting everything. So as of now it was going to the next ALV output rather than what I'm saying. Set parameter ID AUN field wetland. Okay. Cotton rejection 03. So I'm going to call the sales order display transaction for whatever value I'm doing a selection or a double click. So let's see what happens now. Execute this, click here. Let's wait for the output. So whatever fields, let's go to the other session meanwhile. Yeah, so whatever fields will have a parameter ID, we can call it for a SAP memory kind of thing, a different uh, within different sessions, within different SAP sessions. So ABAP memory within same session, SAP memory within, okay, till the time it's processing, and then we'll talk about shared buffer also. Because it's calling the transaction for the first time, I think it will take some time. So let's just wait patiently. Okay. So because it's not able to get the exact value, what we will do, we will use the same thing, index again. We'll copy this, read this table, index this, feed it, let's go to if I do it now. It will load everything in the memory before calling the transaction. So ABAP memory within same session, SAP memory within different sessions. And now as you would have seen that I have written set parameter ID, and then this parameter ID is being passed to the standard SAP program for VA03, but then it can be called in a different program as well. For that we have to use get parameter ID, then ID name, and then field name. So you can write this line in a different program and you can get this sales order number in that program. So that is how we pass the fields between two different programs within different SAP sessions. Now the third concept is shared buffer. So what can happen that I'm running this in foreground, but I need this value in another program which will be running in background. So in that, what we do, we call a share, we pass the values in a shared buffer, and then we access that from the shared buffer in the background program. So that way, basically shared buffer will be shared by both foreground and background processing. So the concept remains same, it's just that this is within same session, this is within different session, this is between different work processes, that is dialog and background. So basically that is the concept. So we have done with these things. You can just Google out more in case you need more help. Join, update, operation, okay, operation. These are some of the quick topics before we actually can come to the main topic. So till the time it's running, we'll just go to the program once again. So you can see that we have come to the standard sales order directly. From there it has navigated directly from my ALV output. Now the navigation should be little quick because all the programs are loaded in the buffer. So you can see that it's happening quickly now. So that is the concept of SAP memory. Now this is how we export something in the shared buffer. Let's try to see. So shared memory or shared buffer, basically in the cross transaction application buffer. So foreground, background, whatever it is. So what you can do, so we can use this syntax, shared memory this from this, whatever. Similarly, doesn't make a difference if I go to import. Or instead, I will show you the syntax somewhere here. SAP plus. So we'll see if I come across any such scenario wherein I run both foreground and background. So export this internal table to shared buffer this, import it from the shared buffer. So that is the syntax. Maybe you can try to write a program and then you can try to see the use of this. And quickly I'll also explain one more thing. In real time, whatever program we are writing, it has to comply certain coding standards which I have already explained. So whenever we deliver a program to the quality team or maybe to your lead for quality check, we need to perform some of the steps before we actually do a handover to the next level. So I'll quickly explain those steps as well. It's taking time. Looks like it got hacked. I'm also planning to create a Google site wherein I'll just punch all the links so that if someone is doing an external search, they also get it from there. It's taking so much time. Okay, let's give it 2 minutes. It got hanged completely. Next thing is going to be our field symbols. That is our agenda. Okay, looks like there is some issue with my system, so okay, we'll just close the session for today. I'll come back again tomorrow with uh, the pending things, and I'll also include this quality stuff there in the next recording. So thanks for your time. See you once again, and then okay, you can do a bit more hands-on on ALV stuff.